Good morning. I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat in South America. I start talking, both cats split. They were both cats are on the table. So when I started talking, they left. Good morning. Good morning, A. Krista Melinda, Lisa Trimble. Listen, let's all hit the like, please, if you don't mind. And we'll see if we can get some people seeing this because I'm excited to share with you. Last night, it just wasn't going to happen. It's interesting. Every time I'm unable to go live because of a signal issue, I swear to you, an hour later, Tommy's fine. And believe it or not, you saw it last night. If you did, it started looking kind of wonky for Tommy, but it ended up being fine. So we're gonna wait just a minute. Let me see if we can get some people in here. Good morning, Barbara Waite. You know the funny thing is, it doesn't matter how many people are in the chat this morning. The right people are going to be here. It's kind of how I see things. It's good to see you guys. Man, what a day yesterday was. Hey, Katie? Look at, there's my brother Tommy. Good morning, Jane. It's good to see all of you. Just another minute or so. Talk amongst yourself. Kidding. But boy, yesterday, what a day. I don't know how many days I've lived, 20,000 and change maybe. Yesterday was one I will never, ever forget. If you guys could do me a solid and give me a 5x5 and let me know how I sound. Hopefully the signal is good this morning. Cindy J. Look at that. I love the sentiment of people that are here. Look at that. Good morning, everyone. Hugs and love to those needing or wanting. That's me. Thank you for the 5x5. You guys are awesome. All right, I'm not going to wait a whole lot of time. I'm going to get right into it. Try to shorten this as quick as I can. We got here thinking we were going to have some fun. We were going to kind of wind down. We knew we'd make some different content. Meeting with our real estate agent, Tommy blurts out something he never blurts out. Tommy, countless times I've heard him say, I'm in recovery. I've never heard him say, I'm a recovering heroin addict. And he said that with our real estate agent. And her eyes bugged out of her head. And she was, I need you. I'm like, me too. Sort of funny. But she told us about a recovery center here. Renee B., good to see you. She shared with us the story of a recovery center here in Ecuador. I don't say it. He doesn't say it. Tommy just does not say that. That was a moment. Anyway, she says, will you help us? And she wasn't finished with her sentence, will you help us? And Tommy and I were both fighting to be the first one that said yes. And in unison, we said yes at the same time. She shared, I am too, man, I'll tell you what. So she shared with us a story about, she and the pastor here of a new church. His name is Gary. If you're watching Gary, or he's going to see this probably. So hello, Gary. His wonderful wife, Nora. They invited us there and they wanted us to tell our story of how we beat it. It's a horrible, they're all bad. Any addiction is bad, but boy, heroin's a tough one. Do you guys know that like 96%, I'm not sure of the exact numbers. I'm pretty sure we'll call it 94% of men, all right, that are addicted to heroin will die with the substance in their body. I think it's 96 or 98% of women who become addicted will die with the substance in their body. I'll tell you something, I'm not. I can promise you something, Tommy won't. We're in a beautiful spot, and the good 99 and 98, pretty heavy, right? Those odds are awful. So they asked if we could go out and talk. Now, this was weeks ago. It has seemed like 3 years have passed since we said, yes, we'll come talk. It got put off a few times. Amy went to the States, and honestly, it's felt like it's taken forever. Yesterday, it happened. So you saw the thumbnail. I'm gonna show you guys some pictures. I'm not gonna be looking at the chat a whole lot right now, but if you do have comments, maybe I'll hang on to the question. Comments you guys can read yourselves, but if you have questions for me, kind of hang on with those for a little bit because I'm going to show you guys some pictures. Jacob Deathridge, really good to see you. That's on the needle, not necessarily smoking it or snorting it. unfortunately, that's how I was doing it, and that's how Tommy was doing it. But here we go. I got to show you some exciting stuff. All right, so I showed you the thumb. Here's the try to put these in order in some sort of a logical way, but it's not going to be. Before I tell you about it, let me share with you this. There are 30. We were told initially there were 30 men. It's just men at this center, no women. We were told there were 30. We got there yesterday, and there were 32. And boy, we're glad there were 32. Let me show you some pictures. Here is the recovery center. Once you come in the gates, all right, you come in the gates, and you can't. Again, these aren't the greatest pictures. Some of these pictures are spectacular. What I thought it was going to be like really disheveled and awful. The workmanship, and you're going to see some of it. It's so spectacular. That what you see in the center right there, believe it or not, is going to be a pool. Tommy yesterday was like, can you give us a shovel? We want to help, and we're going to go out there. We say every Thursday, as often as they'll let us. We're going to go out there and do what we can. This is the area right here where, if you look at the tile, it's just marble. It's unbelievable, the quality. Above on the roof, above, like what would be the ceiling, that's bamboo. And used a torch and kind of burned it a little bit to give it a beautiful look to it. But there's a big screen TV there, and there's a podium and speakers. All those chairs, every single one of them was filled with a man that's addicted, recovering from heroin, in different stages of recovery. Let me share with you that. Most everybody there was over the initial physical addiction part. When you quit, boy, there's not going to be any monetization of this video, but when you quit heroin, the first 4 or 5 days, 4 days, you're in agony. And the physical addiction, everything hurts in ways that's almost difficult to describe. Your hurts, your teeth hurt, your hair hurts. It's horrific, the pain. To see these young men who are 6 days into recovery shoveling and working. I mean, I'll tell you what, there weren't workers there like people they hired to come in and do this. Everybody, it was just beautiful. But let me show you this picture again. All right, so they gave us a tour of the entire place. I'll show you a few more pictures before I get back to the heavy part of this. This is where the men are sleeping. All right, there we counted 10 beds, 3 people to a bed. All right, now it's going to look like more than 10 beds, but it's kind of the way I took the pictures. Look at I'm telling you, their beds were made. They didn't do that because we were coming. They're taking responsibility. It's just the most incredible thing I've ever seen. But the quality of work and the spirit in this place is unreal. This is the bathroom. They all share one bathroom, and that's it. You see there's no shower. That is literally just a small bathroom, but it's beautiful. You know, it's just, here's another one. Now what we're doing is right now we're in the process. I say we, thank God we can say we, because we're helping them, but we're adding another living section. So there'll be 20 beds instead of 10. This is an area where they meet. I think they eat here. When I tell you they eat here, they're eating rice every meal of the day. Yesterday when we were there, after we took a tour and met with them, they ate lunch, and it was a hot dog. Nothing glamorous. You should have seen the looks on the face of these guys when they got a hot dog. Let's see. Here's some more pictures of another picture of outside. This, I believe that I could be mistaken. That might be where the pastor, his name is David. He's 17 years sober. Every sober person is a miracle. I don't care what you're sober from. Every sober person is a miracle. This is another shot from inside. But you can see the marble floors. I mean, it's just the work that they've done is spectacular, considering these are guys recovering from an addiction. That's going to be a fountain. It's like a little oasis. Now it's the whole area is gated. They even have a football field, soccer back home, but football here, because that's a big sport here. There's another picture inside. There's the refrigerator, the only refrigerator they've got. They're getting electricity that's like being snaked from further away. I mean, they're making do with what they've got. I mean, this is another shot. I showed you this earlier, but from a different angle. I think this is that's where they meet. This hangs in the beginning in the front when you walk in, and I don't know if you can see that. It says, "Jesus is my hope." Unbelievable experience we had yesterday. Let's see. This is neat. The reason I took a picture of that sign, when Tommy and I grew up, we had a grandmother and grandfather. Yo y mi casa sabremos. What it says is, as for me and this household, we will serve the Lord. It's a big deal. I'm not going to get like super into the God part of it, but it's a big component of what's happening. All right, so let me go back up and show you this picture one more time. See that? When we were done taking the tour, we met there. Every seat was taken, and there was standing room only behind, okay? And David, who's the man who's 17 years sober, was up front. Hi, Jason. Good to see you. He was up front, and before he spoke, before David spoke, they asked if Tommy and I would talk about kind of our story. And that was why we came here. We didn't realize it, but that's why we're here. So Tommy stood up first, excuse me, and shared his story, which was just amazing. And then I didn't know they were going to ask me because I didn't know we had the time. We thought it was just going to be Tommy, but I stood up, and this is all with the translator. And I kind of told my story. And then we were done. They all sat down right there. Now, see the TV on the far side? Do you see that TV on the far side? If you go over, look to the right, 3 feet, maybe 4 feet to the right, there was a man sitting there. As David was talking, David, the pastor there, after he spoke for a while, they were saying some songs, and I heard a groaning. I have never in my life heard a sound like that. And I've been with some grieving people. I mean it. I've never heard anything like it. It was a kind of groaning that, I don't know. First of all, half of the men there were weeping. They're in a good place in there. It wasn't bad tears. It's hard to explain if you haven't had good tears like that. But while the songs were playing and they were singing, we didn't know the words of any of the songs, but this one man was, I can't tell you what it sounded like. And Gary, the person who brought us there, the pastor of the church that we go to, said before it happened, and Tommy looks at me and goes, "That's 3 or 4. I knew what he meant. Gary goes, "Excuse me?" He goes, "That's 3 or 4 days into his, after quitting. He's dope sick." And he was right. It was day 4. But then Gary tells us he's the newest person there. All right. And his brother had just died days earlier in prison. So not only does he have the anguish of losing his brother, I have something in my eye. It's a hair. I'm not bawling yet. Sorry. He was not. His brother had died. So not only does he have the component of the physical agony. If you've never kicked a substance like that, you don't know that. But I'm telling you, everything hurts, but it plays on your emotions, and it's just mental anguish. I have a hair in my eye. I swear to you, what a bad time for that. An eyelash or something. Anyway, so he has the physical torment, the mental torment, and his brother just died. His brother was the only one he had. All right. So he's I've never heard anything like it. So Tommy and I walked over there, and as Tommy and I, we just want to give him some love and hug him, right? So as we're walking over, he's on his face, tears everywhere. He's on his face. Just, I've never heard anything like that. I hope you almost never hear anything like that. He vomits all over the floor. So Tommy and I step around it. Tommy bends down and lifts this kid up. He might have been the same height as Tommy, 6'1", 6'2". I bet you this guy weighed 140 pounds. He was skin and bones. When you're in an active addiction, food doesn't really matter. And if it comes down to food or getting well, because no one's getting high at that point. You need to know that. They're just preventing illness. If it comes down to I'm going to eat or I'm not going to be sick today, you don't choose food. So Tommy lifted him up and hugged this kid. And when I tell you this kid hugged Tommy back, I've never seen a grown man hug another man like that. Even my sons that have hugged me. I've never seen anything like it. And he was wailing. He didn't want Tommy to hug him. It was a lot that was going on that wasn't spoken, and I didn't miss a word. He aren't showering much, so he was unclean, but it wasn't. If you ever smelled somebody who's the next day like an alcoholic who's been drinking hard the day before, you smell ketones coming off him. You can smell it. Well, it's like that with heroin. It's a different smell. I know that smell, and he didn't want to be. He didn't want to. Can't explain it. He wanted the comfort, but he's like, he was embarrassed. Thank you, Tommy. Goodness gracious. I can't speak. Isn't that great? My brother's saving me. He was embarrassed for sure because of the vomit, the fact that he was sweating out poison. And it didn't matter because we had been there. And Tommy hugged him. And the way he hugged him back, and he was dry heaving while he was trying to get away from Tommy because he was like dry heaving. And Tommy didn't have it. So he kept hugging him. And we were talking to him. The translator came over and we said, look, Tommy's like, I love you, man. I'm not going to tell you everything that was spoken, but he said, this is day 4. Tomorrow is going to be better. And when I tell you that 5 minutes, it may have been more, it seemed like an hour. He held on to Tommy. I can't even describe it, but it was just the most amazing thing. And what happens at that recovery center, we're restoring, what's happening is it's the restoration of hope and dignity. And that's what was happening. But for 5 minutes, Tommy just hugged him. And we told this guy we loved him and that God loves him and that it's going to get better. It doesn't feel like it right now, but it's going to get better. Anyway, after Tommy hugged him, he hugged me and held on to me for another couple of minutes. When he had as much of composure as he was going to get, he sat back down, and then that portion, it was right here. You can't see my mouse probably, but right on the chairs in the dead center of that picture, move over 2 feet. He was on the ground right there, and that's where Tommy and I were standing. And when it was over, we kind of came back to the, when that portion of the day was over, it ended. All right. And they said, we're going to feed them lunch. He said, you guys want to help pass lunch out? Give me a shovel. I don't care what we got to do, but we want to help. So they were putting hot dogs together, ketchup, mayo, and mustard. They put all 3. That's how they do it. And everybody had a small bag of chips and a hot dog. And they handed me the hot dogs. And it was fantastic. The first person that got a hot dog was that guy. And everybody watching knew that's the reason he got the first hot dog. Anyway, so there was enough hot dogs. Everybody got one. There's a couple extra over and above. And I'm like, let's give him another one. And Tommy is like, if he eats one more, the one he ate is going to come back. So, you got to be careful, He hadn't eaten. I can't imagine how long it's been, and they're eating rice every day. It's 3 meals. I don't know how many meals they're getting, but they're eating rice. Hello. Good to see you. We got an A in the house. Look at that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, shut up, Tommy. Guru. It takes a miracle to get off heroin. Miracles at that place are a dime a dozen. I'm not reading here. Just shut up, Tommy. Anyway, what happened yesterday was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I've done some really heavy things. I was lucky enough to run a marathon in Russia for an orphanage, right? I've done a lot of cool things. Washed people's feet to give them shoes. I've been just very, very fortunate to see a lot of cool stuff. Never in my life have I ever felt anything like that. Yesterday was the most incredible day in all of my days. It really was. It was just, It was unbelievable. But we're going to come back. And hi, Natalie. And everybody, if I haven't said hi to you, I'm sorry. I was kind of, yesterday was life changing, Tommy says. It really was. It was the most unbelievable experience that I've ever had. But just reinforced everything. We got back. Here's the weird part. Amy was supposed to go with us. And in 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes before she was supposed to come get us, I get a text from saying, I'm so sorry I can't make it today. But Gary, who's the pastor of the church we go to, the church we all go to, it's in English, by the way. She said, Gary's going to come pick you up. So we're like, great. So the whole day happened. And the talk in the car from where they picked us up to come back. Here's the cool part. It's about maybe 15 kilometers, maybe 20 kilometers away. We don't say miles here. I'm trying to really simulate. But it's probably 15 or 20 kilometers away, which is great because no one's going to leave there. And, they're isolated, which is what they need. Because if you're in addiction, in an active addiction, if they say it's a 100-mile walk, but, I don't think you can make it, you're already headed that way. So, but no one's going to, they're clean. And this is an amazing experience. But the drive back was just like, we get back and what a bummer of a day for Amy to miss that. Because, that's one of those things. Listen, I'm 59 and I've had some incredible days. I've had some amazing things that nothing like I had never experienced anything like that. But here's a good thing. We're going to go back and do it again. Now, when we first came here, the first day that Tommy blurts out, hey, I'm a heroin addict. And she says to us, I need you. Look at that. Practical local. I am. She says, I need you. Will you help? And we said, yes. Right then and there, that day, I kid you not, we came back here that day. We're like, maybe, pretty sure that's the reason we're here. We kind of felt like maybe that's the reason we got here, But after yesterday confirmed it. Like the reason I exist right now is to help them. And I'm telling you that, I said it before, but there are two kinds of people that get sober. People that get sober. Amy was to be our translator, but Gary's bilingual. Gary's amazing, Cindy. But Cindy asked Amy. She was initially going to be our translator because she's more fluent than Gary. I think she's just been speaking the language a lot longer. However, I would gargle gasoline and eat a pound of dirt to be able to speak as fluently as Gary. He's amazing. But yesterday, Gary was more than adequate. But when we got back, this is the reason we exist. This is the reason we're here. I'm telling you, this is the reason that we're here. Not to look at the waves, not to eat peppers or anything else. That's why we're here. Tommy says, I would have rather lost a finger than miss that day yesterday. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, I mean, Tommy and I were like, the cool thing about Tommy and I, it's an interesting thing. There, a million times, if I'm feeling something, he's feeling it. I can tell you what he's thinking. And yesterday we were both feeling the same thing. A lot of communicating done without words yesterday. A lot. Yeah, we're definitely going to learn the language. I promise you. You two must learn the language. You betcha. It's, you bet.
You explain QP?
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah, let me give you a little. Did you put it in the chat? Let me tell you a funny thing. Thank you. I need to tell you something funny. I want to start bawling on you guys. It's a beautiful. Listen, it's not satire. It's the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen in all of my days. So, aside from the birth of my kids, that's a given. But when Tommy's son was little, Spanx, Spanx, when Spanx was little, kids learn the language and they learn how to speak, and they say words wrong. Well, one day Tommy's with Spanx, and I don't know what it was, like a close call, like something almost spilled or almost had an accident, something. And Spanx goes, Hugh. Hugh. He says, Hugh. And Tommy goes, what? What'd you say? He goes, Hugh. And what he meant was phew, like phew. But Hugh, right? That's what he said. It became a thing. So it kind of moved from Hugh to Hufy. When something is so epic, you can't even put it to words. It's Hufy. We've been saying that for 30 years. It's like an inside Scoville joke. Now it's a Chase the Heat joke. But Hufy. And that's just something that we say. It's like beyond words. Like there's no word in the English language. So we use Hufy. And yesterday was Hufy. Yesterday was as Hufy as it gets. You're going to laugh at that one or you're not. But it was, So anyway, that's our purpose. All right. That's our purpose for being here. It really is. Let me see here. Like I had a comment on this. Kristen is saying, no, they're not being, see, here we go. Oh, no. If comments are disappearing, I don't know why, Lisa. You kidding me, Lisa? You're one of the few people that have my phone number. No comments of yours would ever disappear here. So if that's happening, it's not by us, I promise. I don't delete comments here. First of all, I've never deleted. I do delete comments in the chat if somebody's like dropping F-bombs or something. But every once in a while, comments on videos after the fact will disappear. And, I don't do that. It could be that, Lisa. Check that out. At the very top, if you scroll to the top, it says live chat or what does it say? It says live chat or it doesn't do it when you're actually the person talking. But if you're watching, I think there's a choice. I don't even know what the choices are. Somebody, top chat. It says top chat, meaning the top comments or live. That's probably what the difference is. Another YouTube mystery. It is. But listen, you guys. There's going to be a point where if you feel moved to, you're going to be able to help in a tangible way. Okay. It isn't today. So no one do any super chats or anything like that. But in the future, we're going to be able to have, it won't be going, we're not going to be the middleman. Like you give us money and we'll give it to them. We're going to have some sort of, I don't know how we're going to do that, but if those that are motivated to, there's going to be a way where if you want, you can take a more of an active role in helping there. We're going to donate money. A lot of it. We're going to donate a lot of it. Can't wait to help out. But in the future, if you are motivated to, there's going to be ways that you can help. The funds will go right to that place. Hughie. By the way, you spelled Hughie wrong. It's Hughphee. Come on, man. Tighten up your game. Anyway, we're excited to go back. I mean, that is my purpose right now. I mean, that is my purpose. So Tommy and I are not one of those guys that are going to get sober and go out and live a sober life. We are, but we're going to go. Thank you, Kristen. We're guys that like we know our way out of that black hole. How can you? I'm not one of those guys that can know a way out of the black hole and see somebody who's in that hole and not do what I can to get them out of it. So Tommy and I are going to spend our days. No, it's only one day a week. All right. So when we're not doing that, we're going to make pepper videos and we're going to, do some cool stuff around here and show you what it's like to be an Ecuadorian because I'm an Ecuadorian right now. So is Tommy, but nothing matters more to me than that. Let's check this out. YouTube has been off for about 8 or 9 days on almost everything. We got announcements that said there were changes coming. The views aren't right. There's a lot going on. That's a fact. It's a fact. Look at this. Love the word. And there are about 30 ways to spell that, by the way. If you think about it, there's so many different ways to spell Hughie, but that's the correct spell. Love the Spanx. Yep, he's pretty amazing. Can I tell you something? I'm so glad this is last night. I wasn't able to do it. Thank God, because I couldn't have got through it. I'm kind of impressed with myself that I'm able to do it this morning. Cliff Ann, hi, good to see you. Aaron DeJarno, I hope you got my email. I'm going to be emailing you later. When we left, Gary said he doesn't have anybody. His brother's gone. He doesn't have anybody. And they're like, no, he's got a couple of brothers now. It's funny. I've been there, okay? I've been there. And when you're in an active addiction and you're in the point where change has to happen and you're going through it, you feel less than. You feel like, when people walk by something like that on the sidewalk, they look away. Well, if you're that person, you look away too because you can't bear to look at somebody. And I've been there. I'm glad I'm not there now. But I've been there, and Tommy's been there, and we're just, it's a calling. I wish I could explain it to you better, but this is something we had. Like the whole purpose of coming here was for yesterday, and then every Thursday after. But it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. I mean, it's amazing. Okay, so apparently the algorithm is changing because they're trying to root out the AI-driven content. That's a problem. They've done a few things. I don't know if you've ever seen Timothy Glass. I'm so glad you're here. And anybody I've missed, I'm so sorry, but if you've seen, I've seen some shorts recently that are AI-driven, completely AI, that are so violent and horrible. Like people, I'm like, why is this on? It's got 20 million views. I'm like, how is this even happening? I don't know what's going on, but they got to get a hold of it. There we go. We were uniquely qualified to talk to that man yesterday. Isn't that funny? It's interesting. You walk down a horrible road for a decade or so. In Tommy's case, 3 decades, and you think I've ruined my life. You know what I mean? We're resilient if we're nothing else. You know what I mean? But then Tommy's figured out a way, and I'm trying to figure it out, to take the awful things that have happened and make it our resume, and where. You know what I mean? And we're uniquely qualified. I guess here's the thing. There's something. If we just live a sober life, then we have all that time that was just so awful that we have to wrestle with. Doing what we're doing is kind of undoing what we did. If that makes any sense. But anyway, I'm not going to stay on here too long. For anybody who came in late, I'm going to show you the pictures one more time, really quick. You won't see my face now. See, I could be crying right now and you wouldn't know it. These are pictures of the outside. I wish I could, that little rock formation is going to be a fountain. There's going to be a pool there. It's just the most spectacular place. That's the pool right there. Tommy and I are going to get a shovel. We're going to help dig it. This is where we met, where like the heaviest thing that I've ever experienced, lifetime, happened right there. And I swear to you, if I lived 7 millennium, I would never forget that. It was just, let me just say this. All day long yesterday, I kept thinking of him. He's in day 4. Day 4 sucks. It's not like day 5. Oh, we're good. Day 4, once you pass day 4 of kicking dope, heroin, all that means is that the physical craving, like your body, like I'll do anything to have it, that's gone. The physical, I need it, is gone. But then you've got the mental anguish, and that's going to hang with him. You can't sleep. He might get over the next month, he might get, an hour or 2 of sleep at night, like for real. And the sleep he's going to get is plagued with dreams, horrific dreams. We call them chemical dreams. And they're nightmarish, all driven. Your brain sucks. His brain's going to do that to him. And his brain's trying to get him to say, jump the wall. It's only 20 kilometers. You can do that, in 4 hours. His brain is going to do everything it can to get him to use. But he's surrounded by guys who are past that point. So he's out of the wood, the physical part of the craving. He's out of that part of the woods. But boy, he's got such a long way to go. And all last night, I got into my bed last night and I thought, I can't talk about it. That's their beds. Okay, there's 2 rooms where they sleep. That's their bathroom. There's 3 people to a cot, you guys. And now more, because there's 2 more people that. Look at the windows, though. It's just beautiful what they've done. I don't know. I see the most beautiful structures in. These are all the pictures from. This is where it happened. What could be Tommy's head right there. I'm not sure. I'm good. Sorry. All right. Here we are. See? That cat hair, I'm telling you. Anyway, I'm not going to go any further. I'm sure there's a lot of comments I missed. I'm sorry. I got some stuff I have to do. Thank you all for the support, for being here. This isn't like thank you. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate you. I'm sorry about the cat hairs. I'll be back on tonight. I promise you. I'll make sure there's no cat hairs. Okay. I'm sorry I'm not offering more, but it was a beautiful day, and I will see you guys tonight.